Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for January 18th, 2024. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. Trading of this type carries substantial risks and should only be attempted with funds you can afford to do without. All right. Set this aside. We do have crude oil inventory report session coming up at 11 o'clock this morning. So depending on how things go, I'll take this to probably somewhere around between 10:30 and quarter to 11. And shut it down to get ready for the inventory report. One further note on contracts. The unleaded gas did roll over yesterday to the March contract. Crude oil rolled over this morning. All right, transition to March this morning as the volume had transitioned to the March contract this morning. So that is where we are now. Crude oil just recently stopped out of its first trade of the morning, so that is it did get to one and done. 907.08. The initial trade, of course, this long trade was had gone too far too early. Short trade never triggered. This long trade not tradable. We got the setup at 904.56, and you got this bar that printed in the same second, and we never hit money management before ever coming back, so that's a no trade. So first trade of the morning was 907.08. I get money management at 73.11, target 1 at 73.13. and target 2 at 73.25. So 21 and 33 ticks, 54 ticks on the morning, $540 trade, 2 positions. Market's just about to open. We have a get in sync long here that just set up. That looks like, nope, not going to cancel quite yet. Still valid. Soybeans doesn't have anything on at the moment. The add-on long has stopped out, so we're out of that. We've got a possible. And we just triggered long on the micro Russell. That is a valid trade because it had not triggered before. It hit the stop first and then triggered. So money management, I've got it marked off as entering on the stop of the prior trade, but actually that being our first trade would have been on the actual trade itself. 36.1. And looks like we got win number 1 at 38.7. Target 3. And the YM trade canceled. And target 4 on the micro Russell. Unleaded gas picks up this get in sync long. Get in sync right along in here. I would have probably adjusted that around the 200 EMA. Probably get a couple of ticks above the 200 for your entry. But we did get into that. And we pick up money management at 563. Target 1 traders hit 569. Target 2, 598. So target 1 traders picked up 53 ticks. Target 2, 82. And then we trailed all the way up to right there, 609. See, the EMA was basically 52. Yeah, I'd probably take that to 56 for the entry. So that would have been a four tick adjustment. No. Wait a second. I'm getting something confused here, I think. Yeah, 521. Yeah, take it to 521, excuse me. So yeah, it's a 5 tick adjustment. So we cut 5 ticks off of that. That means 48 and 77. We went 607 from 521. So that's 79 and 86 ticks on the trailer. And a really nice one and done. So crude and unleaded, both one and done. Pound Aussie in a short trade just hit money management. Looking for our target 1 on the short trade at 304. Soybeans with a setup to go long. Looks like that setup after crossing the entry, so that's a get in sync at this point. Although that's one I would adjust around the 20 SMA. If you adjust around the 20, you're looking at 0734, so 50, no, 20, that's, yeah, about 25. Yeah, 0775 would probably be a good entry point. And we definitely are in that trade now. Target 1 at 12 flat. I'm going to take that entry to 3/4. $12.07 3/4. All right, winner on the Micro Russell long. Now we have a short, definitely in that, looking at the pullbacks. Target 3 and target 4, and we just stopped out on the trailer at 33.6. So 2 wins out of the gate on the Micro Russell. We are done with the micro, or with unleaded, so let's also find there's the micro NQ right there. No, that's Pound Aussie. There's the micro NQ. What's going? Oh, I know what's wrong. Micro NQ's up considerably. In fact, micro NQ is sitting up at session highs. And we just hit our start time. But that short trade is off the table as it hit the entry and the stop on the same bar. And so it is done. We will look for the next one. And that was a get in sync, so it's off the table at this point. And a new short on the micro Russell. Definitely in that trade as well. Soybeans coming close, and we also picked up a couple of trades on the YM. Looks like long trade after the down move. Definitely time to get into that. .22 tick target 1, so that's going to be a one and done. We got into the long. Pick up target 1 for 22 ticks, and looks like we trailed out right up here. Nope, haven't got a long trailer there, so it looks like, yeah, trailed out at 373. Okay, yeah. So a few ticks above the target 1, it looks like. Oh, wait a second. $373 from 369, so 26 ticks on the trailer. That's a one and done session. There is our stop at 318 on the pound Aussie, and another winner on the Russell. That's winner number 3, target 3 and trailing. Trailer at 29.6 at the moment. And a long trade on the micro NQ. Set up and pull back. Russell stopping out, so win number 3 there. And the micro NQ definitely in the long trade. Soybeans trade still long. Micro NQ pushing toward money management, and that's at target 1, but that's not an actionable target. First actionable target is target 2, but we will bring our stop to break even if we hit hit target 1. That is our money management point. 057.5. Looks to me like we initially got the long trade, 8:30 start time on the pound Aussie. This yellow long trade just barely triggered in. $344, and I got to 344.1. Fair chance you could have avoided that, but I'm going to assume we didn't, just for example purposes. So I've adjusted the entry on the short trade to the full stop on the long trade because we were only 3 pips away. Entry plotted at 322, so that would adjust to 320. Key level would take it to 319 anyway, so that's where we are. Current trailing stop at 318, but we have not hit targets yet. And unfortunately, the Russell takes a full loss on that this short trade it's in right now. Definitely triggered in here and then just touched the stop. So 3 wins, 1 loss. We can take 1 more winning trade or 2 more losers, up to 6 trades. Soybeans stopping and reversing, too short, or at least it has a potential there. Plotted is 0575, so it'll be 0525. And that's where it did get to 0525, so we should be short. From our entry at 0775, that's 2.5 points. 10 ticks times 4 positions, so we're down 40 ticks. And we'll have to see where that goes. Micro NQ still long. Right around the entry point there. And the pound Aussie short trade did stop out at 318. So we get 5 pips back net on all 5 positions. What was our loss on the first trade? Risk was 25 pips. Ooh, that was a big trade. So we're still down 120. So we're going to have to do some work to get even on the pound Aussie this morning. Five positions at 25 pips put us down 125 pips. We gained 5 pips on this last trade. And the Russell with a long trade just triggered in. Probably avoidable. If you're not in it yet, push your entry to 29.8. If you're trading it. Please do say hello in the chat. It's nice to know who's here. And the Russell takes another loss. That's 2 losses. And Micro NQ takes a loss as well and gets into a short. Good morning again, Kevin. Yeah, you missed a lot this morning. We are on the March contracts for crude and unleaded. Both of those were one and dones this morning. The YM was a one and done. We've had 2 trades on the pound Aussie. One was a full loss, one was a break even. So we're down 120 ticks there with trading 5 positions. Micro Russell started off with 3 strong winners, and now we've had a couple of losses. One possibly avoidable. And we are in a short trade on soybeans. After an adjusted entry long trade, so we lost 10 ticks times 4 positions, so we're down 40 ticks there. That was a stop and reverse, so we're looking at $10-tick target 1 on this short trade. New short trade on the Micro Russell, not triggered in yet. And there it just triggered. So it definitely should be in that if you're trading it. Plenty of time to get in that. And that is right above the session open, where the market opened at 5 somewhere between 5 and 6 p.m. yesterday for today's trade date. That's what that dashed gold line is the session open. And Micro NQ takes a second loss. Money management on the Micro Russell trade, so this will be at least a break even. Stop to 25.3, and it just stopped out. So that is a break even trade. And that actually was the last trade of the day. That was our 6th trade, so that ends the session on the Micro Russell. And that's unfortunate because it did end up coming down again. Calculator still tracking because it works with the bar closed, so it doesn't move the stop intra-bar, which we do typically do for trades that reach our money management level. We will move the stop to break even intra-bar. And it did come back up and stop out in that case. And then went to targets 3 and 4. And isn't that special? I would rather lose the occasional winner like that than have it hit target 1 and then turn around and go back to the stop. And make a loser out of it. Or go toward the stop anyway. All right, we have a potential stop, another potential stop and reverse on soybeans. That's going to be at 12:08, 08 and a half. But it has not triggered that yet. Okay, that's where I've got it. That's what I wanted to be sure of. That gold line is the stop and reverse adjusted entry. So we're still short. Micro NQ is still flat. And everything else and pound Aussie is still flat. Everything else. So our 3 charts along the bottom are the only thing active right now. All 3 charts across the top have completed their sessions. We can run a 10 a.m. crude session since the inventory report is not until 11, but often in front of the inventory report it's rather sluggish, so that's strictly up to your particular traders to decide for yourself. Wednesdays are not a good time to trade, so we'll see about that. I typically don't trade a 10 a.m. session on these Thursday inventory reports just because it tends to be rather slow. Okay. So soybeans is short. Pound Aussie and the micro NQ are flat. And now it's just a waiting game. Micro Russell and the YM seem to be turning up a bit, although the YM's hesitating at its 50 EMA. Both the Russell and the YM at the 50. YM is being rejected at the 50 EMA. Micro NQ pushing through the 50 EMA on that chart and picking up a long trade setup that just triggered in. See if we can have success here. So soybeans short, micro NQ long. And flat on the pound Aussie. Alright, micro Russell and the YM both pushing higher now. Let's see if the micro NQ will follow. It looks like it tested its 50 moving average again. Yeah, we have a the long trade is filtered out for some reason. It looks like the trend indicator was positive. On this, that's on soybeans that I'm looking at. Don't understand that one. We're not in a chop zone. That would be at 108.25. But at least for the moment, that is not on the table. And we get our get a third loss on the micro NQ. That ends that session. Okay, that's probably what it is that the trend indicator is flat, so it's showing blue, but it's going along at 0694. So that's why it's filtered out. That one was at 0690. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Not taking the short trade on the micro NQ, although it looks like it's going to be, it has gotten the money management. 3 losses is our end of trading signal on that market. Crude is in its 10 a.m. mini session if you so choose. In this case, I'll look for trades for about 15 minutes. If we don't get anything, I won't go beyond that. Looks like it's going to be pretty slow. So the only 2 things we have going are the pound Aussie and soybeans. Soybeans is in a short. Pound Aussie is flat. Everything else is already done. We got 5 charts that are complete. Now the 7 examples I've got. Not much going on. Micro NQ pushing down. Micro Russell and the YM both pushing up. Micro Russell and the YM both at or above their 200 EMAs. Micro NQ pushing down toward its 200 EMA. Now below the 50, whereas the other 2 were both above their 50s. Micro NQ has just come off session highs about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, whereas the Micro Russell and the YM are both pushing up off of session lows at that same time period. Soybeans pretty much getting a little life now. If this bar closes, we would mark it out of our short position on soybeans. If this bar closes up above the stop and reverse entry point, and then we would wait for a pullback to enter the long. Now that's interesting. Soybeans pulled back, so we're still in the short. And for the moment, the stop and reverse is filtered out by hybrid mode. Soybeans in a fairly tight range today. 14.25 for the high and 03.5 for the low. So just 10.75 points of trading range today. And that range happened between, looks like about 6:30 this morning and about 9:15. Setting the new session high around 6:30 and a new session low about 9:15, 9:20. And then pretty much sideways for most of this trading session so far. Actually, I'm talking in Eastern time stamps. Correctly, that would be exchange time would be Central, so that would be about 5:30 Central to about 8:15 Central. Okay, our last OSOB reading on pound Aussies is overbought, and we did get a short trade that went to money management. So until we get an OSOB reading, we're looking for trades off of the 50 EMA, and I don't see anything coming immediately. All right, soybeans getting almost down, sitting at 1206 flat, so it's about 1 point above the short entry. And we just got a new add-on short there, so that should cancel out the possibility of the stop and reverse. So let's go back to our original entry. And we're almost, we're right back down at we've gotten back down on this bar to the original entry. All right, we'll stay in here for I'll stay in here till about 10:30. Then I'll close it because it looks like things are going to get pretty slow at this point. And I'll close it down and come. I will start up a new session at probably just a few minutes before 11, but we do have an 11 a.m. mini session. Okay, it's already quarter after, and we've got a short on crude, but I wouldn't, especially it's sitting right above the 50. I wouldn't take a trade at this point with the inventory report coming up in 45 minutes or less than 45 minutes. Yeah. And crude pricing rejected at the 50. That's not really a mini session. It is a. We treat it basically like a mini session with the 3 trade limit and so forth. But yes, I will be live. I will start a new stream on that. But that is already on the schedule in the channel. It looks like the micro NQ now is getting break-even trades. That's going to be the second. That's going to be at least a break-even. But that session is done. Still short on soybeans. Looking for 02 3/4 for target 1. Okay, soybeans pushing toward a new session low. 1204. Okay, touching the session low at 03.5, 0350, and a new session low, 03.25, 03 flat. Yeah, now micro NQ is just going back and forth. A good time not to be trading it. And target 1 on finally on soybeans. So we go from 05.25 to 02 3/4. So that's 10 ticks. And we're looking for target 2 next at 01 flat. So we've got 5 tick, got to push down another 5 ticks to get there. And another stop out for micro NQ, so good thing we're out of that market at the moment. Stop on soybeans at 05 flat. And that's the only active trade at the moment. I'll keep following that until this trade plays itself out, or about quarter till, whichever is earlier. And the system, well, that's going to be the break-even stop, and because our entry was pushed down, see, it just plotted the stop at 0550, but our entry was pushed down 2 ticks because of stop and reverse. So the break-even stop is entry plus 1. So it would be 12.05 flat, because our entry was 12.05 and a quarter. Now the moving average, once the moving average comes down below that break-even stop, then it will start trailing the. Actually, it's not the moving average. We trail the balance line by 2 ticks. Once that comes down to or up to, depending on whether it's a long or a short, the break-even point. You see that little green hash that right there is the plotted trailing stop. It doesn't take into account the stop and reverse adjustment, so that's why our stop is going to be 12.05 flat rather than 0550. This light blue dotted line is what we're trailing in soybeans. See right there, it looks like it's just coming down below the session open. So we may start trailing here before in another bar or two if we get a couple of down bars. Make it a little bigger so we can see it a little easier. There you go. If we look right. Yeah, the signal line is at 0550, which is also where the plotted stop is. So it'll have to come down a little bit before it. Nope, okay, that's set properly. And with the price going up and down there, it's moving the balance line is moving sideways, so no change to the stop coming. Okay, still going to have to come down some more to start trailing. Our stop is still at 12.05 flat. .01 flat is target 2. That will be worth 17 ticks. 1 point away. Just 4 ticks. Yeah, Spotlight and Counterpunch use the balance line as a trailing indicator. We'll trail 2 ticks behind that, above or below, depending on the trade. All right, within 2 ticks of target 2. Just 1 tick away. And there it is. Target 2. 12.01 flat on the nose. So now we're down just 13 ticks. And looks like the stop's going to come down to where our stop is on this. The balance line is sitting at 0450, so that would put the stop at 05 flat, which is exactly where we are. And there it is. So that's plotting where our actual stop is now, and we will trail that down. Looks like it'll come down one more tick on the close of this bar. 04 3/4. Balance line's at 04.13, so that would round to 04.25, 04 1/4. Yep, and it came down to 04. Stop came down to 04.75, 04 3/4. Now the balance line is at 03 3/4. And stopping out at 04 3/4, we have a possible long. Yeah, here's the long trade at 05 flat. And we are flat now. So we picked up one tick times two. So we picked up two more ticks. I know, four more ticks, because that's, yeah, one tick at 05 and one more. So yeah, we picked up two ticks on the trailer. So a net 4 for two positions. And we're down just 9 ticks now. Yeah, we're right at the 20 simple moving average there. So I would push that up to 05.50. Which is right there for an entry. Let's check in and see if the pound Aussie is doing anything. We are flat now on soybeans. That's not what I wanted to do. I closed the chart rather than... Oh well. Well, in that case, since I just closed that chart and meant to just take it off of maximize, but the workspace is saved, so can bring it back. All I got to do is just change the unleaded and crude chart contracts, and I'll be back set. But that gives us a good point to break from. Pound Aussie not going anywhere still, and it's been within just a few pips for the last hour. So I am going to call this one a morning. I will be back in about, call it about 20 minutes for the 11 a.m. crude oil inventory report. So we will see everybody in about 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. Not quite 25 because that'll be after 11. About 20 minutes for the crude oil inventory report session. Back shortly.